So hello everyone, I'm really sorry for the delay. So basically, without wasting any time, we should kickstart this session. And today I'm going to talk about our respected guest, Mr. Vivek Sharma. He is a visionary and a pioneer who has a vast professional experience of over 35 years. He played a very fundamental role in brand building and business development in many different organizations. He joined Panasonic as a joint managing director, but was soon elevated to become the first Indian to become managing director of Panasonic Life Solutions India. With such an experience, he is considered an expert at ramping up startup operations and nurturing them to become sustainable and profitable brands. So, without wasting any more time, I'd like to ask my co-host 𝐓𝐡𝐞 Kaur to start the next.
Welcome, sir. A very warm wishes. So I'm starting the interview. So my first question to you is, you had been a part of many different students affairs and were the president of your student council. How do you think it has helped you to be a person which you are today?
See, leadership is a very, very interesting, very, very challenging, and a very, very popular subject. So, when one is young or when one is in college, if you are in the students' council or you're a member of your class representative club, you have won college elections and all of that. It is your first taste of leadership in the true sense. Till then, you have been an individual. You have been, somebody who's playing a lone game. But this is the first taste of leadership where your success depends not only on yourself, but also on your team and how you interdependently with your team work towards achievement of goals. So that, in essence, is the very crux of the leadership at the Students' Council time. For me, that was my probably the second, stint, because prior to that, during my graduation, I had been a part of my class representatives club. And for that, you have to stand for elections and you have to win elections. So most of the time when you're in undergraduate level, the college elections are fought by people who are affiliated to a very, very political background. In contrast, I come from a very middle class family. My father was not at all in favor of my standing for elections or, becoming part of the college election scene. But I was quite convinced. And so I took part. And despite the fact that I was not part of NSUI or ABVP, I still won the elections hands down by over 30% margin from all my competitors. When the analysis was done, I found, and it was a delight for me, that I had won on the basis of all the girls' votes. So the girls in my class had voted for me almost en masse. It's not that I was a very handsome guy or a Bollywood hero in the making, but it's just that they were more comfortable with somebody who didn't have a political affiliation. They felt I would be more approachable, and I was one of them. And with a background such as mine, they felt that in case any help was needed, I would be more suited for that role. And therefore, I won, and won hands down. That first taste of victory prompted me to get into the college, leadership scene when I went in for my MBA. And during the first year, we worked very, very hard for our seniors, for their placement, for organizing seminars and all of that. In fact, we spent more time on extracurricular and co-curricular activities than on the academics themselves. So as a result of that, my seniors were quite impressed with my ability to execute projects. And I was nominated by the entire Students' Council as the president. I won my class election, but for the president, you need to be winning by the votes of all the class representatives. So that's what happened. That was my first taste of leadership at postgraduate level. And it taught me a lot of things. For example, it taught me that teamwork is important. For example, it taught me that it's not products or policies or programs that matter. It is the people, So how you are able to impact people, how you are able to get people to work with you for a united goal, that is what makes the difference. It also taught me that your background is not important. Background doesn't make a difference. Anybody can and has an opportunity to become a leader. So that's what my college stint and my postgraduate stint at Symbiosis Institute of Business Management taught me. It was a very learning and a very fruitful experience for me.
That's really great, sir. So now we'll take up the next question. So, sir, you have been a very fundamental part and of many different organizations, and you have taken up many very high positions in many different organizations as well. So, what, according to you, is the correct definition of efficient leadership? Like, can you please throw some
What
light
is
on
the correct definition of efficient
efficient leadership? Yes, sir.
leadership?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, you see, leadership has been a challenge from times immemorial. The job of the leader is, to start with, to see the vision for the organization. So whether you look at Lord Ram at mythological times, who saw the vision of Ram Rajya, or it is King Yudhishthir who saw the vision of �H𝐡𝐞 𝐁𝐢𝐴, or even if you look at somebody like Jesus Christ who saw the vision of Christianity, or you see somebody like Mahatma Gandhi who saw for all of us the vision for an independent India, free from British rule. So all of these leaders, the one thing common for all of them was they saw a very large, audacious, and a very, very, lofty goal, something which was very difficult to achieve, and something which not everybody could have imagined, but they saw the vision. Then with their followers or with their teams, they were able to craft a very, very effective strategy. Once the strategy was crafted effectively, they needed to efficiently execute that strategy. So execution is where the leaders are able to make the difference. With their team, interdependent working, sharing of goals, sharing of vision, buying in of vision, commitment to the vision, and an interdependent execution of that strategic plan, that's what ensures the achievement of results. So while efficiency is important, to my mind, what is even more important is how effective you are as a leader. Efficiency is possible. Efficiency, basically, as all of you engineers know, is simply what ratio of output to input. Now you can increase efficiency, but if you don't have effectiveness, right, then to achieve the goal is not always possible. So you need efficiency, yes, but more importantly, you need effectiveness. The more effective you are, the higher the chances of your achieving your goals. It's like they say, direction and speed are important. So same way, efficiency, effectiveness, direction, and speed all go towards achievement of the organization's goals. I hope I've answered your question.
Right, sir. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So my next question is, so I was going through your profile and I got to know this statement, one post related to good health. So which there was a statement saying leaders are especially vulnerable to stress. Often leaders put others first and sacrifice their own well-being in the process. Sir, can you please elaborate this for our viewers?
See, a leader, whichever level he is, you see, leadership is a very, very, unique ability and a quality, in the sense that as a leader, you would like your team or your people to be more successful or be more happier than you yourself will be. So as a leader, one must love one's people. So true leadership is when the joy and success of your team is more important than your own. This is what is love. And for effective leadership, this is indispensable. So a leader who loves his people will make sure that they are happy. And if you want your people to be happy, amongst the first things you will take care of is their health and well-being, the work-life balance, their working conditions, their ability to have a good family life outside of work. All of that is important. And therefore, as a leader, L for leadership, L for love. Love is misunderstood by many people in today's world. If you see, there are three main components of love. The first part of love is passion. The second is intimacy. And the third is commitment. Intimacy is knowing and caring about the personal lives of your team members in an authentic and very, very appropriate way. On the other hand, passion is the positive energy and enthusiasm that you will bring to work. And lastly, commitment is a dedication to the well-being of others and to the shared goals. This includes caring for their health, their well-being. So if I was to give you an example of our last organization, I worked for Panasonic, and Panasonic had 10,000 employees. I'm very happy and proud to say that out of 10,000, 7,500 were ladies, right? And ladies of that number are very rare in India. So with that, you have unique, issues. For example, many ladies have children who are 1 year, 2 year, 3 years old. So as a company, in every factory that we made sure that we had a creche. And you'll be surprised that each creche was fully air conditioned so that the children are comfortable, because the children are the future of our country. And if we take care of the children, the country's future is well taken care of. Besides, if the children are safe and happy, the mothers also will be more comfortable and able to work, right? So we did all of this. Before I joined Panasonic, we used to work 6 days a week. And although I'm saying 6 days, for many people, it used to be a 7-day week. So when I joined, I found that it would make a lot of difference to the lives of people if we could start a 5-day work to begin with at our corporate offices, where production is not all that important. So what happened was, we started a 5-day week. And many people felt that by reducing one work day, our working efficiency and effectiveness would come down. But people were very, very happy and very, very satisfied to see that the company went from good to a better, and a better to a still better organization. If you look at our history in the last 3 years, right, the company has been growing sales at a very, very high growth rate of 15%. 15% means Panasonic is growing at twice the rate of the market. And apart from being very, very sales oriented and growing at a fast pace, our profits grew year on year for the last 3 years at a compounded rate of 22.5%. So we were the most profitable, fastest growing company in the entire industry. So if you take care of people, their health, their well-being, my experience wherever I work is the employees more than ensure the company is successful and all the stakeholders' interests are taken care of. So it's essential to take care of your employees. And I have always believed that the employee is your first customer. If you go to any company, they talk of customer is king. So at Panasonic, where I worked for the last 3 years and 2 months, we did believe that the customer is king. But our belief was the employee is emperor. The way we put it was that the employee is the first customer of the organization. If the employee is engaged, the employee is healthy, the employee is taken care of, he will take care of interests of all of the stakeholders of the organization, which includes customers. So that's why this philosophy of employee first was a slogan we followed at Panasonic. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, definitely, sir. So, sir, since you were talking about work-life balance right now, and there was a pandemic also going on, and
I'm afraid
the new topic.
your audio is a little low. Can you speak a bit louder, please?
So, sir, I was saying that
Yeah. Now
since
you're audible.
pandemic was also going on, and you were just talking about work-life balance. So,
Right.
what do you think, or what your take is on work from home content, like the concept which is going on right now, the work from home?
You see, this is a concept whose time has come.
Okay.
If you look at work from home, this was a very hotly debated subject. So I will take you in flashback mode to somewhere around February, March. Before the pandemic started, if you had asked anybody, there would be a 50-50 division between employees on whether work from home was right. And some would have even asked whether it was possible. Because as an organization, we were transporting employees from home to work by company buses. And if we wanted to have work from home and the bus load was less than the optimal threshold required to run the buses efficiently, maybe it would not have made sense. So in a way, one of the positive collateral benefits of COVID-19 has been that the employees and the organizations all looked at this concept. It was also an old challenge like leadership, but people took a new look. So a new look at the old challenge of work from home resulted in people being open. So for our own organization, when we decided to, take recourse to closure of our work establishment in response to the government's directives, the first thing we did was we took a call that none of the employees would lose his job. The second decision we took was none of the employees will lose any part of his salary. The third decision we took was that when we are defining employees, we would include contract labor and salespeople who are not on company rolls. So we ensured that their employment and their salary levels were protected. We then formed a task force, which included people from corporate side, people from manufacturing, people from different businesses, and we formed a 15-member task force. So this was a central task force based at our headquarters, corporate headquarters in Mumbai metropolitan region. Apart from this, every local level management team formed a local task force, and decision making was decentralized. So based on the inputs from task forces, we started our work under the pandemic. During the month of April, our factories were all closed. Everybody got their salaries. Everybody stayed at home. But everybody felt secure. Everybody felt comfortable. And everybody was raring to go. They were all wanting to see how can we start working. Because after 30 days of home work and no movement outside and no work, one does, you start missing even work and start missing your office.
Yes, sir.
So from the second month onwards, when the government started slightly becoming more flexible, we started our production facilities. Our salespeople started working on remote mode. The organization started to attend to customers, and the entire way in which the company as a whole moved towards normalcy, it was a matter of pride, it was a matter of joy, and it was a matter of really a lot of satisfaction. So first month we were 80% of last year's business. In the month of May, in the month of June, we struck the highest level of sales in the previous 15 months. And then we went from month to a stage where end of September, in the first half, the company ensured a growth of about 11 to 12% in sales, and the company was far ahead of expected profit levels. So work from home was one part of our response to the pandemic. And I must say, work from home is something which has come to stay. As we speak today, most of our employees, if I was to put it in percentage terms, at the corporate office, it is almost 60%. We are working from home. And most of the employees at the factories, because production is involved and because there is a proper social distancing in place, roughly 65 to 70% of the people are working at the factories. But the fact remains, work from home is something that is no longer anathema. Everybody has accepted it. It has been a saving grace for the pandemic, and it's something, as I mentioned, is here to stay.
Right. So, sir, you have been working from last 35 years, maybe more than that. So, my question to you is, oftentimes leaders have to deal with demotivation. How do you keep your members, your people in the office motivated and keep their pace of work intact?
So, as I mentioned to you a short while ago, leading your people with love is knowing and caring about what inspires and empowers people. Caring enough to know what is important to them and what is their measure of success is something which should come naturally to a leader. It is a key to leadership success. To lead effectively, you must really love the people. Now, that is something I have always lived by. The second point which is important is that you must build a level of trust. Now, love and trust are interconnected. You may say that without love, how can you have trust? And vice versa, without trust, you cannot have love. So love makes a very big difference in the workplace in 3 or 4 very important ways. Number one is it inspires performance, excellence, and resilience. For example, the pandemic you just discussed, if there was no love and trust amongst employees, there was no teamwork, there was no self-belief, we could not have pulled through the pandemic. So love inspires performance, excellence, and resilience. Another thing that love does is it pulls people together. Teams which are formed, they get closely knit. They are interdependent, one for all and all for one. They care for one another. They make sure that the goals individually and as a team are achieved. In a situation like this, where people are trusting one another, people love one another, minor offenses or minor mistakes are forgiven and are overlooked, which would otherwise cause stress. So in a way, love and trust, it also ensures that workplace working is very, very, conducive. So true leadership for most of us is when the joy of the team is more important than your own. And love is therefore indispensable for effective leadership. So love, point number one, trust, point number two. Third is, if you and your team are able to share the vision, form a strong team, and make sure that as an organization, you are able to meet the customers' needs and requirements much better than your competitors, and the customers prefer your products and your services, you are bound to be a successful team. Once you are successful, right?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Sir, why are you
Yes.
unmuting me?
Am I audible or not?
Yes, sir, you are absolutely audible.
Right. So once you start meeting with success, and success becomes
Sir,
a habit,
excuse me 1 minute.
more successes result
Sir.
in continued
Yes, bro.
history of successes, and that is what motivates the entire team.
सर क्यों नहीं मेरी बात सुन रही?
Yeah, bro.
So teamwork, trust, Have I been able to answer your question?
We are really sorry, sir. You just got muted. Can you please repeat? I'm really sorry for that.
Okay, not a problem. So as I was mentioning, if as a team, you are able to meet the needs and the wants of your consumers in a much better manner as compared to your competitors, the customers will definitely prefer your products. So as an organization, you will be successful, and this successful, result will motivate the team. This motivates results in entire, future successes, and future successes make success a habit. So once success becomes a habit, the motivation is an absolute result, and success and motivation are, linked together. And that is how, as an organization, we continue to build on this process.
So, sir, we are really sorry for the inconvenience happening in between. So, sir, the next question is that since you are an industry veteran, and would you like to throw some light on any ups and downs which you have encountered while your 35 years long experience?
See, ups and downs are the results. Now, ups and downs could happen because of a business cycle. It could happen due to extraneous factors. For example, whole of April, we were not able to work. So there was no production, there was no sale. And that's one of the most difficult times in history for all of us. So this is something you cannot do anything about. So as an industry person, I, my team, and many of us, what we prefer to do is to prepare ourselves for the period when the pandemic is over. Make yourself future ready so that as an organization, you are able to come out fighting and firing all cylinders once the business starts again. Another reason for business downs could be that your strategies and your systems are not conducive to business interest. As a company, we should be ready to periodically look at and review our structure, our systems, our strategy, and all the decisions that we take. If we make a mistake, we must quickly realize that we are making a mistake, correct that mistake, and make sure that the reasons for failure are taken care of. We should be responsive to the market, to the needs of the customer, and to the feedback we get from competitors and the marketplace. That is what helps us to stay in the race and make sure that we are able to service our customers in a much, much better manner. It's only then that they will support our brand, they will love our brand, they will trust our brand, and make sure that together we are able to achieve one another's objectives.
Okay, so since you have been a leader from a really long time in many different organizations, so sir, what do you do when you're unsure about how to achieve any certain goals?
You see, nobody, can be perfect. You don't have the answer to all of the questions that the markets would throw you, right? There are times when you don't know how to respond. For example, when there is a war, for example, you don't know what the government policy is. For example, you see, we were one of the prominent players in solar power as a Panasonic brand. But the government decided that we must have a 25% anti-duty on imports so that imports from China are taken care of. Now, we have factories in Malaysia, but when you are having a duty on imports, all the importers will get hit. So this is something we didn't know, right? It was a total surprise for us. So as a management, one must be aware of and one must be ready for surprises, right? The second thing is, when you don't know what to do, you should seek information. You should look at inputs from experts, from external sources, and from people who have been there, done that, and have experience of that situation. There is no harm employing consultants or looking at cross-border information, because many times we are behind the cycle as compared to Europe or America. So something which we are finding difficult today, they would have faced in their business cycle a bit earlier than us. So look at inputs. And that's what we do as a company which is present in more than 90 nations worldwide, and a company that is $85 billion. Panasonic has been relying on information from many sources. Another thing is, one should periodically do market surveys and listen to the voice of the customers. These surveys keep you in sync with the requirements of the customers, the changing trends, and the future needs in the marketplace. So if you are listening to your customers, if you're doing market research, if you are doing competitor analysis, chances are that more often than not, right, you will not be caught napping. You will be prepared. But lastly, when you are in a situation that despite all the care you have taken, you still don't know, all you need to do is make sure your processes are right, make sure your products are right, make sure your intention is right, and make sure that you are working as per the expectations of the customer. If you take care of these four things, even in a situation when there is darkness, you will find yourself fighting through the darkness and reach a situation where you are in the light and able to take more educated, more informed, and more reliable decisions, right? So sometimes you need to just keep fighting and stay in the fight. And that's what I just referred to.
That's a really inspiring message. So my next question to you is something related to management only. How do you distinguish that the person is not over pleasing, is being yes sir, yes sir? How do you distinguish in between your company? How in the company, in the members?
Very interesting question. You see, all people are different.
Right.
Let me add a bit of philosophy to your, to the answer I give to your question. You see, when God made the universe, he took special efforts while conceptualizing and creating us human beings. He created us and provided ample opportunities for all of us. And this is something he does diligently to this day. God's plan, if you look at it, was simple. No one is superior, no one is inferior, but no one is equal either. We are all unique and we are all incomparable. Nobody is good at everything, but everybody is good at something, right?
Right.
So people have different talents, people have different strengths. As an organization, we should have a very, very transparent policy, a very, very open work culture. The role clarity of each individual must be clear. For example, what is it that the individual must do, right? That is one part of role clarity. The second part of role clarity is how will he do it? Yes. So once every individual and his reporting superior, they are on the same page and they are on the same, realization that what is it that employee has to do, how is it that he must do it, how is his performance measured, what is considered a good performance, and what are the gaps and how will they be measured. Once the employee is clear, he very quickly realizes that just by saying yes, it doesn't mean results will be yes. So more than saying yes to the boss, it is the results that become important. So the employees then when you have a culture like this, a performance-oriented culture, the employees forget about, the way they will approach the employer or their bosses by saying yes or by trying to please. The culture is not please your boss. The culture is achieve your results. So just to share with you, since all of you are young minds and you are all leaders of tomorrow, as an organization, we used to have 4 appraisals a year. 1 appraisal every quarter. Now, you may wonder why 4 appraisals? Because most organizations, they find even 1 appraisal very difficult to do. So why did we do 4? Our logic was simple, that, you have 12 months of the year. Suppose an employee has a 12th month as very bad. So when his 12th month is very bad, that tends to bias his appraisal for the year. And the employee may lose out. In contrast, if there are 4 appraisals, 1 for each quarter, something like all of you students, you have 2 semesters, right? 1 semester in the first half of the year and the second semester in the second half. So same way we had 4 semesters, or what we call as 4 quarters. So every quarter, the employer, that is the boss or the manager or the leader, he sits with his direct reportee. They judge what is the performance. What is it that the employee has done well, for which he is applauded? What is it that he did not do well and he needs to improve? How have his results been? Where did he fall short? Was the extraneous reason responsible, or was there some behavioral aspect or some functional aspect that needs to be taken care of? And each appraisal is documented. So once this is done, the employee knows it's my performance that counts. So instead of saying yes to the boss, we are very happy and we were surprised many times that the employees started to learn to say no. Because there are times when bosses become a little too demanding. They are not practical. So for an employee to say that this is not possible, right? I will be able to do it, but I will not be able to do it this way. I will be able to do it this way. I may need a week more, or I may need this resource. So in a performance-oriented culture, there is no yes-manship. There is no chaplacy. There is no chanchagiri. Performance counts, and employees quickly adapt and adopt that culture. So yes, yes, yes is not really something, which will help. And one of the strengths of the employee and the employer both is that in the relationship, trust is a must, right? As I said in one of my statements. So if you keep saying yes, but the results are saying no all the time, the trust will not remain. The trust will not get built up. So it's in the interest of both employee and the leader and the manager that this sort of a situation of yes-manship does not prevail. And that's how we take care of it.
That's really great, sir. So the next question is, sir, that has there been any instance in which you have mentored any other aspiring leader? And how did you go about establishing that relationship?
So your question, if I hear you right, although your voice is a little low, just correct me if I have understood it correctly. You are saying, have I mentored any other leader and how has my experience been?
Yeah, yes, that's
right?
the question. Yes, yes.
Did I hear you right, or would you like to repeat?
No, that's the question, sir. You're correct.
Okay. So as leaders, one of the very important jobs of all of us is to coach our employees, right? Coaching means we need to trust them, we need to support them, and we need to provide them with the right resources. So as a leader, if we are coaching our employees, there are 2 or 3 things we need to ensure as a part of the mentoring, as a part of the coaching. Number 1 is we should avoid being judgmental. Second is we must, as leaders, be open to what they have to say. We must allow them a platform where they are able to disagree. It's only when we let the employees speak that the ground reality will present itself and the organization is able to respond to the problems in the marketplace. If we do all of this, the employees are in a state where there is a performance-oriented culture. My experience in my 35 years has been that when you take good quality employees, they know their job well. They know what they need to do. They also, many times, if the role clarity is understood, they also know how to do it. At times, there is a lack of clarity or awareness, right? So as leaders and as coaches, what we need to do after we are open and non-judgmental is we need to increase the awareness of the people. If the awareness of the people is increased, they are able to see their own shortcomings. And most of the time, they are able to realize how they will be able to overcome that shortcoming. For example, if I was to give you a cricketing example, many times a batsman, for a delivery that is pitching on the middle stump and going outside, they tend to nick that ball and get caught in the slips. Now, these are all test players who have been playing cricket at the highest level. Really speaking, they know the technique. They know what they need to do under that situation. But many times, for example, they don't know where their off stump is. They are not able to judge the length of the ball. So the role of the coach or the leader is to make them aware that this is where you are getting found out. So once the awareness is shown, good players and good employees, they find the solution and they implement the corrective action plan and ensure success. The fourth thing as leaders we need to do is we should always be very direct. We should speak our minds. It shouldn't be that we are trying to be polite. We are saying something, but we are meaning something else. If we are direct, we are precise, we are able to explain our intent to our employees, they will understand the situation and they will make sure that they are able to come out of it successful. So as mentors, this is our job.
Right, sir. That's really, really nice. So my next question is, from very long period of time, you have been at really great leader positions. So you might have taken many risks while taking decisions at top position. So how do you describe yourself as a risk taker? And can you just share one of your experience where you were having no knowledge, you haven't read any facts about the things, and you have invested or you have give your time to that, and how has been the result?
Okay. So as a leader, my outlook always has been that a small target is a big crime. So if you are looking at big growth and you are looking at something that is audacious to achieve, something that is not easy for anybody to, reach, that is something that inspires not only you as a leader, but it inspires your entire team, right? So you must select a goal that is high. And I always tell my team that it is better that you aim high and miss than if you aim low and you hit, right? You must make sure that you are able to delight consumers. There was a time when we were young that meeting customer expectations was enough, but not anymore. There are so many brands and there are so many competitors that you need to constantly delight your consumers. So by making small changes, by improving things step by step, that's not enough. You need to look for big achievements, big targets, and big growth. That is not only inspiring, but that serves the interests of your organization. Regarding the second half of your question, you see, we are running large organizations. As I told you, we are an organization at Panasonic, where I worked last. We had 10,000 employees. We were achieving this year that the sales would be 4,250 crores and 700 crores of profit. So it's a large organization. In an organization like this, it's not like playing marbles at school or playing cricket or football in your gully. There is a lot of, respect, a lot of achievement at stake. And taking a risk for an organization of this size is very, very, avoidable. So as leaders, for us, risk-taking does not mean close your eyes and jump, right? That may be risk to somebody else, but we have to make sure that we risk on the side of growth. So you may take a risk that instead of 12% growth, I will go for 15% growth or 20% growth. You may take that sort of risk. But to take a risk on the organization without knowing everything and, having a 360-degree perspective about your situation, it's something which is very, very risky. Because as leaders and as managers who are professional people, it's not our money which is at stake. It's not only our job which is at stake. It is the stakeholders' money. It is the jobs and livelihoods of the people. And there's a whole lot of, vendors, channel partners involved. So we have to make sure that business continuity and business progress takes place at any cost. Risking that is avoidable, but taking risk on side of growth, if you are a healthy organization, if you are an organization that has a lot of resources, you can always take risks. So I'll give you an example of our present organization or even my previous organizations, where we, after the pandemic, we kept two targets. So the entire team, including our Japanese management, they were comfortable with a plan A, which was very conservative, which made sure that, we didn't make any losses and the organization continuity was taken care of. In my opinion, I felt that in a situation like the pandemic, the smaller brands, the weaker companies are not able to recover fast from the pandemic. Whereas a company like ours, which is process-oriented, which has resources, which has talent of much superior quality, and which has all the infrastructure built in, the godowns, the supply chain management, the factories, the sales staff, we are having almost 1,400 people selling our products. So I felt that once the pandemic was, over, many companies would falter and fight internally to come and at least survive in the market. So I thought that as an organization, that was our opportunity. So what we were able to do as a team, we discussed and we kept for ourselves two plans. One is plan B and one is plan A. And we took the risk of keeping higher numbers for plan A by 20%. And I'm happy to share with you that this plan A with a higher number target of 20%, we were able to exceed by 1%. So what this resulted in was that our organization was able to respond to the consumers better. It recovered from the pandemic faster. The services were better than competitors, especially the smaller competitors and unorganized sector. So we were able to show a high market share growth. And this is something we couldn't have done if we had not taken the risk of increasing our production, putting more money in the factories, making sure that even if it meant higher costs of delivery or production, it's a risk we would take, right? And make sure that our objectives were met. So in this case, this was a very calculated risk, a very, very educated risk, and a very, very, pro-organization continuity risk. And the entire team was behind this. And we worked like a single man to deliver our results. So not only did we exceed the plan B by 20%, which was our plan A, but we went 1% beyond that. And the organization is in a much better situation because of that risk being taken. So risk taking of this type is always preferred.
Right, sir. From this, I just want to conclude two things. As a leader, you need to be calculative. And second, you have to always be, okay, we have to take risk, but you have to calculate it first, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, Lakshmi, you can continue with this.
And you have to make sure that the organizational continuity of business, the employment of the people, all of that is not taken into a risk, so that you sacrifice all of that, because that is important.
Right.
So the next question for now is that like I am always intrigued to know that the people at such high positions like the managing directors and the CEOs of the companies, do they really find anything difficult? Like what do you find most difficult as a director of a company? Like, please, would you like to throw some light upon that?
This is very interesting question. So as a managing director, we are very fortunate in the sense that we have a very strong and talented team. We have a large, organization and infrastructure. So there's nothing we really cannot do. I mean, our difficulty is to say no, because our organization is so strong. The opportunities in India, being a country which is growing, are so huge that you try to do something और शिद्दत से आप करो तो achievement 100% होती है. So anything you touch in today's situation can be gold. So nothing is outside your control. Anything is possible. You only need to plan, you need to do, and you will achieve. So as an organization, what we have felt is that we should look at making the organization future ready. So what worries me is not today or what we will do today, because I can see it every day, the way the team is working, the sort of inputs they are doing, the sort of talent we have, the continuous new products that we launch, the way we interact with consumers, the way we respond to competition. The present is not in doubt. What worries me sometimes is the future. And as leaders, it is our job to make our organization future ready. So this is where sometimes you feel whether India can be more predictive. You see, there is a lot of government decision making, which can be sudden, whether it is to the manufacturing or to the corporate sector or to individuals. You see, even as an individual, you see last 5 years, the government has taken so many flip-flops. And our income tax rules for individuals also have been changing from time to time. So how much of this will continue in the future? Can the government be more predictive? Can we make a business plan for the future that is, something we can follow consistently and ensure better results? That is something that worries me. Otherwise, fighting today's battles is not something I'm really worried or bothered about. So what I tell my employees is that as a team, try to do today better than yesterday and try to do tomorrow better than today. So in doing so, what will happen is you will be consistently better. So something that is good will become better. Something that is better will become still better. And even if you are the best in your industry, can you not be still better? So being consistently better is one of our mantras that we propagate within the organization. Be consistently better. The second thing which I try to follow and which I also work with my colleagues is the organization achievement in future will be the sum total of the achievement of all the employees. So if each employee is able to attain his potential after he has realized the potential, and then can he stretch himself to maximize his potential? If each employee maximizes its potential, that is when the organization will maximize its potential. And that is when you will do better in future than you are doing today. And then you will be an even better organization in the future, so that even if there are some difficult decisions taken, like I gave you the example of the government suddenly putting 20%, 25% duty on solar panels import for all companies, after a year, we have been able to come around. We have developed Indian vendors. We are sourcing the products in India, and we have been able to respond to that, right? So being consistently better and maximizing our potential is something that each employee within the team must look at. And if we are able to do this, right, success, satisfaction, contentment, and happiness, all four of these is your result. And that's something all of us should look forward to.
Right, sir. Sir, so my next question is, do you believe in healthy competition amongst peers, or you prefer them to have an environment where they complement each other or appreciate each other?
Very, very nice question. Compliments for that. See, competition is of two ways. One is competing with yourself, and one is competing outside. There was a time when, independence was what was important. But in the world of today and the future of tomorrow, especially for all of you who are youngsters today, and you are the future of our country, you must realize that it's not only your success and your achievement of goals that is important. More important is the achievement of the organizational goals. As citizens of this country, if we are only worried about our day-to-day existence, right? We are not worried about our country, then we are not good citizens at all. So the best way for any individual in the organization is to make sure that he achieves his objectives, because that is where the organization depends upon him for. And he must make sure his objectives are met. But if he is part of a team, if he can work interdependently, if he can support his teammates, and if as citizens of this country, if we are able to work towards the company and the country's future, I think the world will be a much better place. So to answer your question, the way organizations work is we don't have target setting or we don't have objective settings so that people are competing against one another. In a way, we are going one step forward. Most of the places where I have worked, we have even got together with our competition. And I like to use a phrase called co-opetition, which is a mixture of cooperation and competition. So you can combine with your competition, work together so that the industry grows, right? At one level, you are competing with them, but at another level, you are cooperating with them for the growth of the industry and for the growth of the country, right? And that is where, as corporate citizens, we must make sure that while we are playing our own music, we must realize we are part of a bigger orchestra. And the orchestra is what is here to provide music to customers. So in the organization, it's not about competing or having independent goals and success, for yourself. It is, as any good corporate leader will tell you, it is about working together. It is about caring for one another. It is about sharing a conducive work environment. And it is about growing together. So as a leader who spent 35 years, I would say caring, sharing, and growing together. That is the crux of the entire statement. If we are able to do that, everybody is happy, the organization is able to grow, And as a company and as a corporate citizen, if we are able to do similarly in our industry, not only will we grow, not only will competitors grow, the industry will grow and the country will grow. We need to look at the larger picture. As individuals, it's not our fight alone. It's a fight for the entire country. India is the fastest growing country in the world. There are opportunities that are more than enough for all companies to grow and all companies to make profits. And so we should worry about how we are able to make India a much greater country, a much, advanced country, so that the country rises as a team, as an entire country, and we are able to lift the entire country above the current levels of development, of economical situation, and of the lifestyle and the way of living. So we must look at raising people out of poverty. Because if there is inequality, right, it doesn't help any of us. You can be a victor, right? But at the same time, you're not happy. It's much more important to be happy and satisfied and content than to be victorious, but not being part of a successful, group of human beings. As a leader, as a corporate citizen, that is the way I look at it. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, definitely. So, with this, we would like to end this meeting. And anything which you would like to ask us or share with us, sir, we'll be delighted to have it.
See, one thing I had, I was looking at a concept. When I was young or when I was small, my father used to always preach to me that give to the world the best you have and the best will come back to you. When I was your age or maybe probably younger. So I used to be, everything about I, me, mine. I must get so many marks. I must get into campus recruitment. I must get my admission. I must get a good job. So he used to always tell me that don't think like that. Think of a bigger picture and give to the world the best you have. If you think with that perspective, right? So that is what will change your life and the life of people around you. So it was he who motivated me. My father is no more. He's a God. But he was a very wise man. So he used to tell me. Now, I was looking at a video to share with all of you to, convey that message which I learned from my father. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a video. But what I did find was a US sourced video, but it says the same principle. Give the world the best you have and the best will come back to you. It says in another way, what goes around comes around. So I have sent you this video. Although it's an American video and there is an American language in it, but all you youngsters these days, you speak English much better than the English and much better than the American. So you'll be able to understand the video. So if it is possible for you as a closing remarks or as a parting advice or a suggestion to all of you, because you are the future of our country. If you are looking at things differently, I think our future will be different, much better. So if you can share this video, I think today's session has been, well achieved. This would be my parting request to you and suggestion.
Definitely, sir.
The audio is not on.
I think there is any problem in the audio. Can you please check what's happening?
So till
Shall I
then,
read it?
yes,
Shall
sir.
I listen?
Sir, our team is looking into this, playing the video. So till we are looking into this, I have the
Okay.
next question for you. And that is, can you suggest any book
Right.
recommendations for the youngsters all here in the meeting? One of the book which has
So
inspired a lot
what
in
I
your...
will do is,
Yes, sir.
actually, I have a very big library at home, almost 5,000 books, because when you grow up in life at different stages, different books appeal to you. And at the stage or age you are, many times you tend to choose books accordingly. But if I was to look at uh, books holistically, there are 6 or 7 books which have been very, very inspiring. And one of the books that I really liked was 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Right? And then there was another book called Six Thinking Hats by Edward de Bono on lateral thinking. So there was then another book which was Control Your Destiny or Someone Else Will. This is a book by Noel Tichy. When I was younger, one of the books that I liked very much was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, which is a Japanese person who settled down in the USA. So there are many books. So what I will do is, since you have mentioned it, I will make sure that I send you a list of the 10 favorite books I have. Another book I can recall is a book called From Good to Great by Jim Collins. It's an exceptional book. So these 4 books I can think of right away. And then if you are a person who's interested in consumer service, there's a book called Guts. It is the story of Southwest Airlines, and the CEO of that, he turned around the company by sheer consumer service and better customer attendance from a bankrupt airline to become the most profitable airline in the world. So that book is called Guts. Those of you who are interested in leadership or coaching, there's a very nice book called The $1 Trillion Coach. Right? So some of you may like that. So I will review my book list and I will send you a list of 10 books which can be circulated internally for everybody's reading pleasure and learning.
Thank you
I will
so
do
much,
that.
sir.
I will do
That
that
will
today.
be really great. It's
Yeah.
said that good readers are great leaders in life.
Well said. Well said. Very nice. I agree
So
with
we
that.
will be really delighted if you can share your book list with us.
I will share with you my 10 favorite books by this evening,
Sure.
so that tomorrow morning when you come to class, I think Porvi has been in touch with me and I will send it to her.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Porvi and Rhythm, these are the 2 people I'm in touch with. So I will WhatsApp the list tonight to them and they will circulate it to you tomorrow.
Right, sir. So I think we are going to start with video.
Right, please. Thank you. The audio needs to be... Another suggestion I would like to give you and all the students who are there is, since all of you are engineers now, and some of you may like to go into post-graduation for engineering or leadership or management and all of that, at this time, all of you must make sure you're on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is not as comfortable as Instagram or Facebook, but LinkedIn for people who want to learn, managers and engineers, is a very good sharing medium. All of you must make sure you are on LinkedIn and benefit from the post, because you will see managing directors, CEOs, gurus, lecturers, all of them are on LinkedIn. So their posts you can see and learn, and it is free, doesn't cost you anything. It's a good opportunity.
Right, sir.
So, since till the time the video is getting loaded, there's one question which I was thinking for a long time. Like you had an undergraduate degree in physics, and then you changed your path and went to do an MBA. And many people do it. So, like, what was the thing which intrigued you to do that?
It's a very it brings back a lot of memories. That is the first time in my life that I went against the wishes of my father.
Okay.
My father was a very, very wise man, and he was one of the biggest influences on my life. So he was a scientist. He was an electrical engineer, like all of you, many of you are. And he was a postgraduate in mathematics, because when he studied nearer independence, you could do both. So he's a graduate in electrical engineering and a postgraduate in mathematics. So he was very keen that I think the video is back.
Yes, sir. So we can wait. You may continue.
Okay.
Yes,
There was a
So my father was very keen that I should also, after my BSc with physics and computer programming, he wanted me to do an MSc and then do a PhD, because he could never do a doctorate. So he was very keen, and he felt that that was the right career for me, because I was strong in the mathematics. But I was quite clear, because I was seeing opportunities in management. And I was not very confident the way I was performing, because I was a good student. I've been a first-class student throughout my life. But I was able to get just about 67, 68%, and I was not in the top 25% of my class in my physics honors. So I could get a 60%, but I was not in the top 25%. And I felt that my physics foundation was weak. More than that, I found that as a country at that time, although management education was not known, I felt that we are the world's largest, producer of milk. We are the second largest producer of fruits. We are the third largest producer of vegetables. We have the largest number of engineers in the world. But as a country, we are not able to perform. So in my mind, and with the research I did, I felt that the gap was in management. So I told my father that I want to do MBA. No, he was not willing to listen. So we had the first showdown of my life. I had never had a showdown with him. So I said, either I will take up a job after graduation, because I don't want to do PhD. So I appeared for a series of interviews, and there was a company called Godrej and Boyce. They even gave me an appointment letter. And at that time, since I come from a middle class family, we didn't have a car or a scooter or a motorcycle. The company also was along with the appointment letter. They said that when you join, you will get a two-wheeler from the company. So for a young man who is 20 or 21, getting a job from Godrej and then getting a two-wheeler, which he always wanted but never had. So I said, I'm going to do the job. So my father then realized that, there's no point getting into an argument. And he saw that I had a passion for management. So he said, look, if you join a job as a sales representative after your graduation, your future is not going to be very bright. So let's agree, you do your post-graduation, so that at least when you start at a much higher grade. And I think that was very wise advice. So I did my MBA. I appeared for my written test for a lot of, because at that time the CAT, normally is in December. the CAT date was over. So I appeared for Symbiosis, I appeared for Pune University, and I appeared for 10, 12 of them. Surprisingly, I was ranked in the entrance test after my group discussion #1 in Pune University, Kumbha that is called, and I was #2 at Symbiosis. So I visited the campuses of both, Pune University, and I visited Symbiosis. The vibe about Symbiosis, the way the communication was, the way the, campus was laid out, the way the office staff behaved. So I felt that although my ranking is #1 and I would get a scholarship in Pune University MBA, I decided not to go there and I went in for Symbiosis. So another interesting sidelight was that when I topped the entrance test, it was the first time in our entire family that somebody's photograph came in the newspapers. So in the local newspapers, they said Vivek Sharma topped the entrance test to Pune University MBA. So one of my father's colleagues, he showed my father the photograph. And that's when my father really accepted that I had made the right decision. So it brings back very nostalgic memories. But I never before that and never after that did I go ever against my father's wishes, because I do believe, and I was confident then and I'm confident now, that he had my best interests at heart, and he was a very, very wise man. So I hope I answer your question.
Yes, definitely so.
So now we can start with the video.
And I am not, by the way, I'm not suggesting to everybody or anybody that go and argue and fight against your father, okay? That's not the intent. Yes, okay.
There was a homeless man named Billy who barely got by. He would hold out a cup and beg people for money, hoping to get enough so he didn't have to sleep on the street at night.
Can you spare some change?
Little did he know, he was about to meet a lady who would change the rest of his life.
This is for you. I hope this helps.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I don't have to sleep on the street tonight. Well, why'd you give me so much?
I've always believed what goes around comes around.
Wait. I don't even know your name.
It's Sarah. Sarah Darling. I work across the street. I'm sure I'll see you around.
Thank you, Sarah, darling. Ring.
Billy realizes that when Sarah handed him the $20 bill, she accidentally dropped her wedding ring inside of his cup. He runs after Sarah to try to find her to give her her ring back. He looks all around for her, but he can't find her anywhere. Just as he gives up looking for her, he happens to come across a pawn shop and decides he may as well go inside.
Hi, can I help you?
Want to see how much this ring is worth?
All right. Wow, this is nice. I can give you $4,000 for it.
$4,000? That's so much money. I wouldn't have to sleep on the street for months.
A second. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and 4,000. What's wrong? Aren't you going to take it?
Actually, changed my mind. I'm really sorry.
Billy decides not to take the money and continues to look for Sarah instead. As he's walking around, he remembers something she told him.
I work across the street. I'm sure I'll see you around.
So he goes inside nearby offices, asking for a Sarah Darling, but no one seemed to know who she was. He keeps trying, and eventually he finds her.
Is there a Sarah Darling that works here?
Yeah. Sarah?
Oh, hi. How can I help you?
Hello. I believe this belongs to you.
Sarah decides to start a GoFundMe page for Billy, telling the story, and to her surprise, the story ends up going viral. People all over the world started donating. Within a few days, Sarah raises over $190,000 in donations. And then a few days later, Sarah goes to find Billy.
Hey, Billy.
Hello, Sarah.
I have a surprise for you. $190,726 surprises to be exact.
What? This is for me? But I don't understand. What's going on?
I set up a donation page and I told everybody about what you did. People around the world donated. So now you don't have to worry about sleeping out on the streets anymore. You can buy your own home.
I can't believe this is happening to me. God bless you.
God bless you too.
Yes, it was really an inspiring message, and we really need to take this home back with us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here and sharing this video. Such a powerful message. Thank you so very much, sir.
So in Indian, or our English, it is give to the world the best you have, and the best will come back to you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Exciting journey we had ahead, and we learned a lot from this particular session. So I want to end by saying inaction breeds doubt and fear, action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, don't sit home and think about it. Get out and get busy. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your time and being here with us and sharing such an inspiring message. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you. It was a pleasure being with all of you, and wish you a lot of success, a lot of happiness, and a lot of contentment and a lot of cheer. All the very best to each one of you. Thank you, and good night.
Good night, sir. Thank you so much.